Hi everybody, today we will cook chips in 1 minute, in 1 hour, and in 1 day. You can cook chips in 1 minute only if the oil is preheated. The clock's running, and we are cooking sort of a semi-finished product which is called shrimp chips. These are little bites made of shrimp and starch, and they feel more like plastic than something edible. All you need to do for them is just throw them in hot oil and watch the magic. The chips go right before our eyes, and right at times. We shift them to the board. That's it. For this, the chips are ready in 1 minute. They're very crispy and the texture is similar to corn sticks. Let's try it. Just crispy, shrimp-flavored chips. We have a whole hour to prepare the next chips. This is already enough to make a good potato chip. Peel the potatoes. Thoroughly rinse them. Now the potatoes need to be cut. It's not a good idea to do it with a knife. Chips of the same thickness are unlikely to turn out, therefore we will use such a slicer. We string the potatoes on the holder and cut them. The result is these smooth fluted pieces, and most importantly, they are all the same thickness. We have many of them. Pour them into a bowl and fill it with water. And now we just leave it for 20 minutes so that extra starch comes out of the potatoes. Then we spread out some paper towels. We shift the potato slices onto them. And dry them so that there is no water left on them. We dump them back into the bowl. Fill the oil and mix. Fill 2 baking sheets with potatoes. For our spices, we will use dried dill and green onions. Sprinkle them on the chips. Salt them. And put them in the oven. Set that to 200 degrees and turn on the convection setting. Bake the chips for 20 minutes. The chips, which took 1 hour to cook, are ready. Since these chips are already cooked in the oven, they're not as bad for you as fried ones. Let's try them. These chips are more familiar and much tastier than the previous ones. And we will have a whole day to cook the last chips, and they will taste like crayfish. The crayfish must be alive for starts. To cook them properly, we send a bunch of dill into the water. Crush the garlic head. And peel the cloves. Put them into the water. We also peel the onion from the husk. And put them into the pot. Now we just need to add a lot of salt. And onto the stove. As soon as the water boils well, we throw in the crayfish. We will cook them for 15 minutes. After which, they will need to be allowed to cool completely in the broth. Now the crayfish are ready. We take out the meat from the shell. That's how much meat we were left with as a result. Now we need a dehydrator. We put the crayfish meat in it. And cover with the lid. We set it to 50 degrees and turn it on. Now you need all the moisture to evaporate from the meat. This happened after only 5 hours. Just look at how much the meat is decreased in volume. We shift all this meat into a coffee grinder and grind it into a powder. We now have a natural flavor additive. But we also do not throw the shells out from under the crayfish. There's still a lot of taste left in them. We put them into a glass bowl and fill it with oil. We put this in the oven at 100 degrees so that all the remaining taste from the shells pass into the oil. Now we turn to the potatoes. We peel them from the peels. We use exactly the kind of potatoes suitable for cooking. Our already cleaned potatoes are cut into pieces. Put into a saucepan with water and onto the stove. Then drain the water and turn the potatoes into mashed potatoes. We add some salt and our flavor additive from the crawfish meat. We decided to make these chips spicy, and for this we took the world's sharpest pepper, Carolina Reaper. And it wasn't me who came up with this, but there is a table of sharpness called the Scoville scale. For example, the jalapeno pepper, which many people may know, has 2,500 Scovilles. But the pepper caramel Ripper, 2,300,000 Scoville. That is, it is 920 times sharper than the jalapeno. Before starting that, we put on a mask and gloves. We break one pepper into a coffee grinder. And grind it into a powder. We put this into the mashed potatoes, mix it up, add some flour, and knead the potato dough. Done. We roll this into a large roll and cut it into discs. We roll out each section with a rolling pin. And now we've got sort of this size of chip. We repeat this many more times. We make holes in our chips with a fork so that the chips do not swell later. And we deep fry them. As soon as the chips are golden, we take them out and put them onto a paper towel. The chips that we've been cooking for almost all day are almost ready, but that's not it. The oil that has been infused with the crayfish shells is poured into a smaller bowl. Squeeze out some mustard in there, add some pepper, salt, lemon juice, and crack 2 eggs in there. Now we use an immersion blender and turn this all into mayonnaise. However, this isn't just mayonnaise. Mayonnaise with a very powerful taste of crayfish. Now let's try it. Hello everyone. We decided to cook the longest burger. Presumably, it will take 4 days to prepare it. Day 1. Let's start with pork ribs. First of all, we undermine the films. And tear them off. For the marinade, a mixture of peppers in a mortar, and grind them. And throw that into the bowl. There's also a lot of smoked paprika, salt, Worcestershire sauce, and a lot of mustard. Mix up that marinade. And spread it out on the ribs. And rub it in well. We transfer the ribs to a special package. And vacuum seal them. That's it. Send them into the refrigerator for 3 days. Let the marinade penetrate to the maximum. We also decided to pickle some chili peppers. To do this, cut them into circles. Done. Put a saucepan with water on the stove. Add in a lot of sugar. And the same amount of salt. Also pour in some apple cider vinegar. We bring this marinade to a boil and pour chili peppers into it. Boil it all for 5 minutes. And then it's ready. You can pour it into the jar. Day 2. Let's start with making homemade cheese. Put a saucepan on the stove and put in 400 grams of natural cottage cheese into it. Pour 400 milliliters of homemade milk and heat it all up, stirring constantly. After 5 minutes, the liquid turned yellowish, and this means that the serum is separated. We drain all this through a sieve. And we send the clean cheese back to the saucepan. And onto the stove. Add orange dye, half a teaspoon of soda, and the same amount of salt. Over some low heat, we constantly crush and mix the cheese. At some point it'll all melt, and it'll almost be ready to eat. Now we quickly prepare a square mold. From the inside we lubricate it with oil. Shift in the melted cheese, and distribute it by hand. In an hour it'll all cool down, and then it's completely ready. The next thing we need to do is dry some tomatoes. We cut the fresh tomato into 2 parts. Then lay them out on the grill. And sprinkle salt very abundantly. That's it. You can send our fresh tomatoes to the oven. We set it to 70 degrees in the convection mode. We leave them to languish until the next morning. Day 3. Our tomatoes have already dried out very much and have decreased in size by 5 times. We take a jar, pour provincial herbs into it, then load in the dried tomatoes, and pour an olive oil to the top. That's it. At this, the dried tomatoes are ready. We'll need them later. In the meantime, take the onion and peel it from the husk. Cut into half rings. Put a frying pan on the stove and a little oil in there, and put in the onion. It needs to be fried to this slightly brown color. Then pour in the water. Thanks to this, it'll become softer. Now just add some sugar. Mix the onion and caramelize. In the end, we get an awesome soft and sweet onion. For the barbecue sauce, peel the red onion and slice. Slice it into strips. Crush a garlic head and peel the cloves. We crush it again and crumble it. Put a saucepan on the burner. Cut off a piece of butter and send it to the saucepan. Now fry the garlic with the onion. We open up a tomato paste and add 4 tablespoons to our sauce. Pour in some whiskey. And add for sweetness a lot of honey. To get that spicy chili pepper and some Tabasco. Squeeze out some lemon juice, salt, pour in some liquid smoke, and knead it. Boil for a couple more minutes and the barbecue sauce is ready. Now we just need to punch it thoroughly through an immersion blender. And pour it into a sauce thing. Done. For our super long burger cooking, we will make the softest brioche bun. Pour some milk into a bowl. And break in half a package of yeast. Add some sugar, salt, and mix it all well. Then we break in 4 eggs. We put the bowl into the mixer. And gradually fill in the flour. After 5 minutes of kneading, you should get a dough flowing off the hook. Cut off 100 grams of butter and throw it into the bowl. Now we knead the dough straight for a long time, for 30 minutes. As a result, it should come off the walls of the bowl. Now we take a baking sheet, pour it abundantly with oil, spread the dough in a baking sheet, spread it out wide, and cover it with some cling film. Now leave the dough to rise in a warm place. After an hour and a half, it is tripled in size. We take off the film, and once again we crush it with our hands. We form some balls and put them on a baking sheet. We place elevations in the corners and cover with cling film so that it doesn't touch the buns. We're waiting another 20 minutes for them to get up. Done. In a bowl, we break 1 egg, pour milk, and mix. We glaze those buns so they're nice and wet. Send them onto the grill and turn on the gas. We will bake at 180 degrees for 25 minutes and the buns are ready. They turned out to be real frickin' soft. The last 4th day. The ribs are already completely marinated. We also need a baking sheet. We open a can of beer and pour it into the baking tray. There's a special grill for the top. Open the package. And shift the ribs to the grid. We unfold the foil from above. press it tightly from all sides. That's it, we can put it on the grill. And in the meantime, we will make a glaze for them. Fry these cloves of garlic. Dump a glass of thawed cherries. And evaporate the juice a little bit. Pour some pepper into a mortar and crush. And throw it into the sauce. A little tomato paste. Basil. Salt and sugar. Lemon in half and squeeze out the juice. We mix our glaze and it's almost ready. Now we just need to kill it with a blender for about 3 minutes. The ribs have been grilled for 3 hours. We take them out. And open up the foil. We apply cherry glaze with a brush. And shove it back into grill. After 10 minutes, the ribs already look awesome, but we will glaze them again so that the layer is bigger. Another 10 minutes, and the ribs are finally ready. We get them out. We put the ignition bowl on the grill and fill it with coals. We set fire to a tablet of dry alcohol and let it ignite the coals. Done. We pour them into the grill. And we put the bars in place. We proceed to the preparation of the cutlets. We need beef and pork fat. Cut the fat into strips. We cut the largest films from the meat. And cut it into convenient pieces for the meat grinder. Now we take the meat grinder itself, substitute a bowl, and put the meat in the saucer. Now we begin to twist the stuffing. Also finally chop some smoked bacon. They throw that in there too. We open it and take out our dried tomatoes. We cut them finely. put that into the meat as well. Freshly ground chili pepper. And of course, salt. That's it. We knead the minced meat thoroughly with our hands. Now we form balls from it. We send it to a square of parchment and form a cutlet. We made 3 pieces. We're gonna grill them. While they are being grilled on one side, we will use lettuce leaves and tomato. We cut them. And now we try and cut our homemade cheese into slices. We cut our super soft brioche buns into 2 parts. The pork ribs are still hot, therefore we shift them to the cutting board and very simply take out the bones. Cut them into 3 parts. Turn the cutlets to the other side. Fry them a little bit more and take them out. Now we put the buns on the grill. For literally 20 seconds until the crust appears and take them out. Now we're going to build our burger. We lubricate the top bun with caramelized onions. Tear off a piece of lettuce and put it on the bottom bun. Next comes the juicy burger, 2 slices of homemade cheese, squeeze out the barbecue sauce. Next comes tomatoes, pork ribs, barbecue sauce again, pickled chili peppers, and top it with a bun. That's it, the burger we've been cooking for 4 days is finally ready. Let's try it.